You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Yeah, sure thing.
Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah?
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient.
Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo. Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Shadowing it.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I've been told by informed sources that Greg Cody doesn't like the pressure of the second seat.
Who told you that? I want to know your source.
Is it true or is it untrue? Or you just want me to betray my sources? Because I feel pretty confident in my sources that you feel like the third seat is the place that you do your best work, there is less pressure, and that you deflate whenever you come in and you hear, as many of us do, as many in the audience do, that Stugotz is not here.
Wow, isn't he? Stu who? I'm kidding. I don't deflate. However... It is more pressure in this seat. You know, I'm used to steering the show because of the Greg Cody Show podcast, which has my name in it, so it indicates that
twice the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody
with Greg Cody, right? But no, I'm thrilled to be in this seat. Honored to be in the Stugotz seat.
So you're denying what sources say? Well, you just confirmed it beforehand, and then you denied it.
I think what I confirmed was that there's more pressure in this seat, being the second guy instead of the third guy. It's like there's more pressure batting third in the lineup than batting eighth. You know, that kind of thing.
What about batting second and batting third? Not much difference.
Lead off. The only pressure spots in a baseball lineup are batting first, third, and fourth.
What?
Yeah,
that just doesn't make sense.
Everything else is gravy. You know, that kind of thing. Because, you know, if you're batting seventh or eighth, you're on a holiday.
Yeah, but
nobody
after
expects anything.
A certain inning, you could be batting fourth that inning.
Well, that's true. You know, the guy batting eighth could bat fourth that inning.
Right. So what are you doing?
And you know that the best hitter in a lineup now more often than not bats second.
Yeah, that's a new thing.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's new.
When did that happen?
About a decade ago.
Really? And what's the rationale behind that?
More at bats over a long season. You get like 40 or 50 more at bats.
I think third's probably more stressful than second, though.
I would think so too.
But that's...
No, you're right. I mean, we're on the same page on that one. Second, that's an easy spot. You know, if the leadoff guy gets on, you're in a no-lose situation. You know, you bunt. Anybody still bunt? The sacrifice bunt used to be a thing.
Like Ohtani bats leadoff. Some managers just go with, if I bat him first over the course of a long season, he's going to get X more at bats, so I'm going to put him first.
Yeah. Back in the day, if you batted a home run hitter leadoff, you were laughed at. You were laughed out of the league. It never happened.
Can I ask you just a quick question here? How is it possible that you have been trudging out to Marlins games for the last 10 years and it has escaped your attention that the best hitter in baseball now hits second?
I don't acknowledge it. I don't think it's true.
Oh.
Is there any quantifiable proof to that? Name one team.
Yes, it's
with
all of
the
them.
best hitter batting.
It's
second.
all of them.
Every team's
Name one good hitter on the Marlins. How would he know what a good hitter is?
No, you can't. I mean, it's
Exactly.
ridiculous, the Marlins.
Greg, how do you not know this? You've been going to baseball games for the last 10 years.
Yeah, long enough to have earned a Hall of Fame vote.
How do you not know that baseball has switched to its best hitter now? I do love when baseball brilliant people suddenly discover, oh, yeah, get our best hitter more at bats. Like, we've been doing it wrong for 100 years.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. with the Blue Jays, one of their best hitters, batting second in their projected starting lineup. Gunnar Henderson for the Orioles, batting leadoff.
Never heard of him.
Okay.
Guerrero projected as batting second for someone other than the Blue Jays.
We're going to skip past he's never heard of Gunnar Henderson?
Yeah, well, we're going to just start the show and see where we end up with him not feeling at all the pressure of being the second chair.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We're in for an experience today because if you guys are not aware of what happened to Greg Cody the week before his annual I'm going on a cruise and all I care about is just please put me at a bar for 7 days so I can stand in the middle of the sea drinking from the drink package. Greg Cody tends to mail it in right before that annual trip. He is already he's sailed to sea on vacation. Chris, are you taking this trip with him? Is this another family trip? How often does your father lean on you or get carried back to his room by you because that free drink package is something that he really he attacks with vigor?
I'm going to give him credit. I rarely have to carry him back to the room. I would say that there's a lot of pointing. We go to the elevator that way. That's the way down towards your room.
A cruise ship, for those who haven't cruise shipped.
Long hallways.
Yeah, long-ass hallways, and depending on what flight of stairs you walk up, you're never quite sure. Are you starboard? Are you the other?
There's pictures clearly that say that near the elevators and help you out with that.
That kind of thing.
Do you know where you're going?
We're going to the Caribbean.
Be more specific.
St. Kitts. Whatever. St. Kitts. Okay, that sounds like a small island. That's a name that implies it's a very, very small island.
You nailed it.
Okay, St. Kitts and something. Tobago.
Nevis,
I don't know where we're going.
We are not going to Trinidad and Tobago.
They have a nice rainforest there.
Where, Nevis?
No, in St. Kitts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can zip line. It's fun.
Nevis doesn't even sound like the name of a country.
Okay, great.
I was told that Greg Cody, the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, has a reveal today that was both embarrassing to you and that you didn't realize until several minutes after announcing it that it should be embarrassing to you.
Why? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that you apparently reveal when you lost your virginity on the latest episode of the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody.
It's an estimate. Who can remember that far back, to be honest with you? I mean, it's so, I could have been off by a year. I think I might have been a year younger than I estimated.
Wow. How did this come up?
Well, we have a March Madness special that dropped today and yesterday. And by that I mean we don't talk about college basketball at all, but I do my Mount Gregmore, which, as everyone knows, is a top 5, not a top 4. I do my Mount Gregmore of marches, brackets, baskets, and balls. And under the category of March...
So it's top 5 marches of all time.
Yeah, I happened to lose my virginity in the month of March, as I recall. And so that was one of the 5 marches. And there's a poll online today under my Twitter feed. It's always Twitter to me, still, not X. That includes a vote on which of the 5 should be the number 1 seed March.
March 77, running away with it.
I think it was 76.
It was 77. You're just embarrassed about this now.
Okay.
So you're
No,
making
I'm not.
it
I was in my early 20s. It happens. I don't lie like most people.
Everyone else is lying.
I mean, I think why would I be embarrassed about that? I hadn't found anybody, or should I say, no one had found me. I was playing Stratomatic baseball when I should have been dating in high school. What can I say? I'm living my life. I'm doing all the best I can.
Your son said that afterward you were sheepish and wandering around saying, is 23 old to be losing your virginity?
Well, Christopher was howling with laughter as if it was like abnormally old. Maybe it is. I don't know. But see, I'm not swayed by whatever anybody else thinks. Like you say, I should be embarrassed by that.
I didn't say
I'm
you
not the
should be
least bit
embarrassed. I didn't say you should be embarrassed by that. I said that it was reported that you were embarrassed by that.
For the time, that feels a little late for me. I'm not shaming you. Like, a lot of people wait for marriage. There are a lot of reasons to not do that, but I just, it was just funny to me because you, I think, thought that was
You thought
the
it was
average.
okay at the beginning, and then you were meant to feel shame that you didn't feel like feeling, and now you're defiant about not having felt that shame because you're just sort of covering up and hiding the shame.
Well, it's a way to psychoanalyze me, without
But that's just, I just gave a timeline. I just gave a timeline of factual information.
I was somewhat surprised by Christopher's reaction. Because to me, I have never and still don't think of it as abnormal. Somebody.
So it was the FAU dorms?
It was afterward. If he's 23, he's out of college.
It took him a while to get on.
It took me a while. Keep in mind, I worked for the Miami Herald. They had me work 39 hours a week so that I was essentially full-time, but they didn't have to pay me like a full-time employee or start my benefits clock.
That should have been your first warning that journalism was trying to do it on the cheap.
Yeah, but back then, it was the heyday of journalism. Are you kidding me? 70s and 80s? That's when we were king. But
what is a heyday?
Heyday.
Is that for
glory
horses?
days.
Is that for horses?
Halcyon days.
I don't know, but I don't know what a heyday actually is.
It's
Is
got
it
nothing
hay?
No, because it's H-E-Y. It's not H-A-Y.
So what is it? What is a heyday?
A heyday is the best of times.
I know what a
I think it
heyday
has to do
is.
with Willie Mays.
No, I don't.
Let's say heyday kid.
That's right.
Speaking of heyday in journalism, there was a Yale Review story that I saw yesterday that said Vanity Fair's heyday, and the guy in it, Graydon Carter, for 25 years was the editor there and made $166,000 per article that he wrote. And he wrote like 3 articles a year and was just raking in cash.
Wow.
That was the heyday of journalism.
That's crazy. I probably get about $78 an column.
I want to go through again what is on the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. You said top 5 marches.
Yeah, final 5 marches, brackets, baskets, and balls.
Brackets?
Top 5 brackets of all time. Or is that like tournament years? Like, I loved the 99 NCAA bracket. Like, what does that even mean?
No, it's I'll give you an example. One of my top 5 brackets is the Carpenters know it well, the angle bracket, which is a classic 90-degree bracket which affixes together 2 different types of wood. I was making my I once had a tall table around my avocado tree, and I used angle brackets to attach the tabletop to the 4x4 legs. That's an example of a classic bracket that nobody ever gives respect to. Nobody knows what an angle bracket is.
I've got to tell you, I'm shocked that you would be so ambitious as to think you could find 5 brackets. And the reason this has made the top 5 is because of how hard it is to find top 5 brackets.
It's not a carpenter over here. He doesn't know. There's brackets aplenty.
Yeah, there really are.
We could do brackets for days.
Give another bracket. Give another teaser.
I believe I think one of them was the short-lived television show called Brackets.
Yep, that was on there.
Jesus.
Did you include the brackets from like
Galifianakis.
races, right? That's where you sort of put like the rubber bands when you're trying to fix the way that your overbite might work?
That did not make the...
Wow, alive.
That's got to be a bottom bracket, though. Those things
well,
suck.
keep in mind, it's tough to make a Final 5. It's tough to make a Mount Gregg 5. And... But
that is not the way that is said. A Mount Gregg 5?
Yeah, a Mount Gregg 4.
What is the name of it?
5.
What is it? It is not a Mount Gregg 5, is it? It's
I don't know. What do we call it?
Mount Greg Moore is his top 5.
Greg, it is so great to see you on your own podcast that has your own name twice. Always go, I don't know, what is it about this thing that I do, Chris? Tell me more about it. I can't be bothered to answer questions or retain information about my own podcast. And you just point to your son and say, I don't know, Chris. Go ahead and tell him what I think about things.
Well, that's he's my executive producer. I pay him as such, and sometimes I rely on him to fill in the details.
Chris, you just rolled your eyes at he pays you as such.
I mean, He knows how I feel about that. But, it's a different conversation.
But anyway.
Well, wait. What? No, it's not a different conversation. It's the one I want to have now, where he thinks he's paying you well and you think he's not. So he just said, I don't have to retain my own thoughts because of how well I pay my executive producer, who then rolled his eyes at how well he's not paid.
Well, he's feeling a little bit entitled. If I ask Christopher how much time he devotes to the Greg Cody Show podcast on a weekly basis, I don't know whether he's going to exaggerate it or not. I'm saying some weeks it's maybe an hour.
Of actual recording, then there's creative, like thinking about the show, and creative.
And repeating your thoughts that you can't retain for yourself.
The stupid call you and Yeti want to have every Wednesday.
The point is stupid call called an organizational meeting.
Oh, wow. You like meetings for your own show.
We have a phone meeting. We don't have a meeting where we're all in a room.
Here's the meeting.
Nobody's saying anything that's worthwhile.
Here's the meeting. Greg Cody goes, we should have a guest this week for like 30 minutes.
Christopher, get on it.
Yeah.
Who books the guest, Christopher or Yeti?
Both.
Sometimes I
If
do.
there was budget cuts and you had to choose one, Christopher or Yeti, in terms of who is more responsible for the putting out of the Greg Cody Show with Greg Cody?
That's a good question.
Who would you choose?
That's a tough answer because Christopher is the second in command on air, like he's my Robin to Batman, but Yeti does most of the producing work, most of the social media work, and stuff like that, so I need both.
So Yeti.
Which of your top fives did you feel the best about? Balls, brackets, baskets?
Or marches.
Or marches.
I think all four of them came out fabulously. The idea for this was Christopher's, but my execution was top-notch. And I would not say that if I didn't believe it.
Will Lucille Ball appear in top 5 balls of all time?
Yeah, she was very important in my life. I love Lucy. I mean, Lucy and Ricky, that was ahead of its time. Ricky, a Cuban guy, speaking in a very thick accent, almost like Poppy, maybe more so. And that was a time in TV when there were very few people of color or foreign nations on TV. So that was trailblazing. Lucille Ball, one of the great women, dynamic women of the entire 20th century. Politics, screen, no matter what the category is, she was just fantastic. So chances are, I'm hinting that she might have been one of the final 5 balls.
It seems like stronger than a hint. It suggests that if we tune in to the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody, there will be prominent placement where we would get some redundancy on what you just said about your admiration for Lucille Ball.
You want to reveal one of the baskets now? I feel like we've dipped our toe in each one. I don't know. I know the Lucille Ball. I don't want to give it away. But
I want to get to Billy's. I want to get to Billy's tournament here, which we have not updated, which begins on Thursday. Our March Sadness tournament that involves the fans. That's something that we must get to at some point today. But also, I wanted to get to the fact that Jessica spent an hour recently just listening to Jeremy. And that sounds like that could
awful.
Unless it's a back and forth, listening to him talk for an hour, listening to anybody talk for an hour can get droning.
Yeah, that's true, Dan. So yesterday, Lehman and I got tickets to Unrivaled, courtesy of DraftKings. It was the final. Wow. So we had to drive all the way to Medley, which is not a short drive in rush hour traffic. And Lehman turned on his favorite Knicks podcast because the Knicks were playing the Heat last night at Madison Square Garden. And we turned it on to the Knicks Film School, I think it's called. And Jeremy was the guest. And so we turned it on and I was like, it'll be a short drive. We'll listen to 20 minutes of this. Well, no, it took like an hour and a half to get to Medley, which is like west of Doral. Like, it's not close. And so I listened to an entire hour of Jeremy break down the Miami Heat in the car while we sat in traffic in the baking hot afternoon sun.
Did you love it?
I want to do the bit and say, no, you're annoying, but actually, like, when he's not being interrupted and purposely being annoying, it was pretty informative, I hate to say.
And how did that play out based on the results? Because the Heat, Tracy Morgan last night.
Yeah, well, Jeremy actually was 100% correct in his analysis of when the Heat lose every game. Jeremy, if you want to jump in here so I don't get it wrong, It's not that they're like starting out the games and their ass the entire 4 quarters. They're actually like playing well, and then they sort of like lose the plot in the second quarter and then get blown out in the third quarter.
That's exactly right. They start the game hot, starting lineup, kind of no matter what the starting lineup has been recently.
9-0.
Gets off to a hot
9-0 last night.
It was 12-0 last night,
Wow.
and they were up, I believe, 27-14, and then they brought in a certain backup point guard. And things went awry, and all of a sudden it was 33-31. And this has been the issue for Miami. They go up 13, they go up 17, and they haven't been skilled enough to end teams early in the game. Go up 25 or 30, they let teams get back into it, and you have a single-digit score at the half, and then everything goes awry in the second half.
So as an unbiased member of the media, would you say it's coaching is to blame, or is it roster construction, lack of talent? Like, as someone who's just, fairly judging the teams and their failures, what would you say is the reason, and how do you fix that?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, a little bit of column C. Everybody's failing right now. They've lost 8 games in a row. It's the most games in a row Eric Spoelstra's ever lost as a head coach.
Hot seat, or what do you think?
No,
He sounds broken. He sounds sad. People are trying, getting tired of the trust the process.
Jeremy, Cortez, who?
Who's broken and sad?
Eric Spoelstra sounds broken and sad. Let's play the sound of Eric Spoelstra sounding, we're pretty annoyed at this point hearing this coach talk with these words because it doesn't sound as brilliant or entertaining when they're not in the finals.
That's the thing that we've been racking our time, our brains, everything, trying to find solutions for that. We have not come up with solutions, and we've pretty much tried everything. That's why I say I haven't been able to come up with solutions for that. This has been one of the biggest challenges of a regular season that I've been a part of, and we just have to stay the course. This is the NBA. So we'll have another game on Wednesday night.
They have blown more leads than anybody in the league. They've now tied Utah for most blown double-digit leads. And as Jeremy mentioned, Eric Spoelstra has never lost this many games in a row, and he's wearing it.
Yeah, stay the course is sort of an odd thing to say.
Right.
Well, he's just used to saying it. Like there are certain phrases that he has. We can Jeremy
avoid this course.
Jeremy, and I believe a number of Heat fans can do a top 5 of phrases they are done hearing Eric Spoelstra say. But he's so used to saying it that yes, you need a different course. Go to a different course, whether it's a path or whether it's an instruction that someone's going to teach you. You're in the wrong course. You're in the wrong classroom.
Yeah. We Have Enough is one of his hits. That's a big one. They don't right now. No, you don't, Coach.
Right.
You don't have enough.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan. Want to responsibly speak to you about my favorite time, Miller time. Look, a lot of things are coming back in the season. MLS is back. P's and C's in the MLB. You know who puts the ML in those sports? Miller Lite. That's right. From basketball to hockey to game night, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the greatest tasting light beer for people like you and me who love their beer. Now's a perfect time for friends, family, and a great tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time! And it's got taste that you know you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer for people who love their beer. Because it's brewed for taste. It just hits different than other light beers because of simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and that iconic golden color. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Wow.
What's up?
I just bought and financed a car through Carvana in minutes.
You? The person who agonized 4 weeks over whether to paint your walls eggshell or off-white bought and financed a car in minutes?
They made it easy. Transparent terms, customizable down and monthly. Didn't even have to do any paperwork.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Hey, have you checked out that spreadsheet I sent you for our dinner options?
Finance your car with Carvana and experience total control. Financing subject to credit approval.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Mattel, Heinz, or Skims, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the business behind the business, making and selling, and for shoppers, buying. Simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. No one does selling better than Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret with Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Heinz uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Batard, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Batard to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/Batard.
Don Le Batard.
What do I got here? I got a Magnum condom. We won't get that out.
That's shocking.
Stugotz.
Here's a picture of Christopher when he was like 3 years old.
Right next to the condom?
Yeah.
As a subtle reminder.
Yeah.
Never forget. This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I do give him credit for honesty because you, as you said, you rarely hear any coach at any level in any sport say something to the effect, I'm out of answers. We've tried everything and nothing's working. Well, is essentially what he said.
The last two games, they're not really in them. Like whether you start or not, you're losing the games by 20 points to Memphis and New York. That's different. There were a couple of odd basketball results last night, right? Denver ends up winning at Golden State.
Sucks for the Warriors, huh? They're terrible. Stinks for Jimmy Butler. Man, crazy. They lost a game.
Without Jokic and
character.
Without Jamal Murray. It's the one that, gets interrupted around here and isn't allowed to speak for an hour.
Why are you like this? You were so normal on that podcast.
I'm sorry. Everything's tough here.
Jamal Murray doesn't play. Jokic doesn't play. And then after the game, Kerr says of Curry, we need to get him rest. He's tired. Curry says, I'm not tired. My back hurts. And then Kerr says he's been carrying the team for a month. And then you get the weird result of Indiana beating Minnesota when everyone is watching Minnesota and saying, they might be playing recently over the last 6 weeks, like they can climb into a championship conversation that only has 4 or 5 teams in it. But Minnesota loses at home because, of course, Obi Toppin and Indiana. I would love to have Indiana as my team. I would love, if I can't have a championship team, something that looks or feels like Detroit or Indiana is something that I would love to be watching, falling in love with because they can play in a game like that on the road against Minnesota and put up 132 points because they're going to get their offense against anybody.
What's crazy for Obi Toppin is he had a historic night last night in Pacers history. Not only did he hit the game winner, but he joined Paul George as the only Pacers ever to have multiple games in a season with 30-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, and 5-plus made threes. Like, Obi Toppin is having one of the special Pacers seasons. It's so bizarre.
Maybe Mike tries to sell it now.
Then.
Better time than ever.
Dan, I feel like you could just jump on the Pacers bandwagon. Like, no one's going to judge you for it.
I feel like I just did.
Just do it.
I don't know whether you were jumping on the unrivaled bandwagon last night, but was that your first game attending? Because what you got was a stunner in the final, right? Like that's Nafisa Collier's team, the Owls. They had only lost one time all season, and they were leading in that game by 20 points. That is an inventive experiment, by the way, that John Skipper and others are investing in. Steph Curry is one of the investors as a made-for-television event that is allowed to that is created to bolster an economy outside of the WNBA for women who are complaining about their pay, have been right to complain about their pay. And now, Reese and others are mentioning the idea of, creating a work stoppage in order to make sure they are paid better. So this league, as a made-for-television event, has been what kind of success can we say? Because in terms of conversation, they've gotten a lot of conversation. And if you don't need fans and are just existing as a tournament that's meant to be televised because people need programming, this seems like a smart idea with women who are underpaid, taking their fame, putting I've heard that they've got these great facilities and stuff, but there is a little bit of cabin fever because, as you said, it's Medley. It's not a part of Miami that anybody is traveling to for tourism. It's over by the airport. It's a place where my father grew up working in factories. There's just not a lot over there except for a number of enormously famous women basketball players who are better than most people in the world.
So the Vinyl upset the Owls in the semifinals. So last night was Rose versus Vinyl, and the Rose won. It's Chelsea Gray's team. She was the MVP of the final game. It was a lot of fun. Like you said, it's a made-for-TV event because it's not in a huge arena. It's in like a soundstage, and there's not, I don't know the total seat count, but it's very small. But the in-arena atmosphere is actually really fun, and there were tons of fans there. It was just a really entertaining environment. Tons of celebrities there. Dwayne Wade and Gabby Union were there. Asia Wilson was there. Francis Tiafoe was there. There's a lot of celebrities courtside watching the final last night. So it was really fun. I think the basketball itself has been really fun to watch because it's 3-on-3, but it's not half court 3-on-3. It's like a condensed, 2/3 court. They have a target score, fourth quarter, ending. So every game ends on a buzzer beater or a game-winning shot, which is really exciting. The pace of play is really fast because it's 3-on-3. So they're, constantly running the court. And so it's been really fun to watch. It's been fun to watch the sort of crossover teammate, teammates that have never played together before coming together and playing together on a team like this in this small setting is cool. So I think fans have really enjoyed it, especially because usually in the WNBA offseason, your favorite players are abroad. You might not get to watch all of their games. And so this has been on TV a couple nights a week and has been easy to follow. And there's tons of engagement coming out of it. And I think from what I understand, the players feel like, they're getting an ownership stake in the league. So they feel a sense of ownership over it and making it fun for the fans. And I think you can really tell that this is a fun thing to get people engaged and get people excited about. It made me really excited for the start of the WNBA season.
It is easier, obviously, to just take a couple of concentrated months where you can make some money outside of the season and you don't have to go and run the risk of ending up in a Russian jail the way Brittany Griner did because you're trying to get money overseas because they pay better overseas. But when you say it's a soundstage, a warehouse, do you feel while you're in it that it's not quite an arena, that the fans make it an arena or the environment makes it an arena, but that you might as well be on the soundstage of a game show?
No, actually, they make it really feel like it's an arena. It's just not, it's not 20,000 people. It's 1,000 people or whatever it is. But there are some really bad in-arena DJs and entertainment in basketball. I will not name names, but whoever they have doing all of the in-game stuff for Unrivaled is very good at it. So it doesn't feel like you're on a TV set at all. It actually just feels like you're in a small arena. I've been to a number of college basketball games in the last year, and this Unrivaled in stadium or in arena was much more lively and exciting and was a fraction of the number of people that have been at those games. So I really enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect because it is not a lot of people, and the farthest seat from the court is, I think they said 20 feet away. It's really, really close. But the energy is great. I mean, 3-on-3 basketball is really fun. I enjoyed watching it during the Olympics this past summer, so I was a little bit familiar with how the pace of play works. But this is not quite the same rules as that. This is more of a full court experience. So I just really enjoyed, Chelsea Gray is, I think, the perfect athlete for this format because she's so good at shot creation. She can shoot from anywhere on the court. She can pass really well. And so I think it was very fitting that her team won and she was the MVP. Angel Reese was out last night because she re-injured her wrist, I believe. But she was the defensive player of the year in Unrivaled. And so that was, she helped that team get to the championship game. So it was a bummer that she wasn't there. But I think, it just sort of highlights different characteristics of players that maybe don't always come out in 5-on-5 basketball, and like really shows how different skills are more important there. And like being able to play two ways in 3-on-3 is super important because you're constantly hustling back and forth. It's an 18-second shot clock. It's moving really, really fast. You're just running up and down the court like constantly.
It's amazing that the league was this successful after they tried so hard and offered the moon to Caitlin Clark to play. And she's really the one prominent player who said no thanks. But it was a great season anyway. Good for the league that the Lunar Owls lost, because most of the regular season, it looked like they were going to waltz to the championship almost uncontested. They were 13-1. The next best record in the regular season was 7-7. They ran away with it. And the fact that they lost in the semis was great. But that place seats 850 people, and I don't know how they can sustain that formula. Because the bigger they get, the more popular they get. There's going to be a demand beyond the 850.
I will keep saying to you guys that the future of sports doesn't require fans to be in attendance, and it doesn't even require fans to be watching on television. It's just all programming, and the television streamers need the programming. Sports is one of the few places where people tune in at the appointed time. Like, there's so few right now. What are they? Name all of the others. Like, I know occasionally Max has on Sunday nights something that everyone's watching, whether it's Game of Thrones. Actually, you'd be surprised how low the numbers are on something like Succession or something like White Lotus. But I don't even know what I would say. Is it award shows? What in programming, what is second place to sports on thing that you do, not on your time? You go and make sure that you are there. America goes and makes sure it is at the television when sports or something like sports summons us. It's no longer, we have moved so far everywhere in America into convenience. Bezos is basically everything that he is because he's better at convenience than everyone else. So what's second place here on something that all of you feel like you have to watch and be a part of at the time? The watch, so that you can talk about it with your friends as it's happening and you don't feel like you're left behind by it.
Jeremy said like maybe award shows fit in that category, because I think like the reason sports are unique is because you obviously don't want to know who wins it like after it happens. Like if you don't watch it live, then it gets spoiled for you, and other things don't, so you can watch it on your own time, unless you're listening to this show and you haven't seen The Righteous Gemstones or White Lotus yet, in which case it will get spoiled for you on Monday morning.
Yeah, you spoiled Gemstones.
But
yeah.
I think you did.
Because there's a frontal nudity
yes,
scene, full frontal.
It would have been better if I didn't know it was coming. But I knew it was coming, and I was like, there's going to be a penis soon. And then I saw it, and I was like, well, I knew that was going to happen. I was still like, oh my God. But it would have been different if I didn't know. Anyways, I think Unrivaled is different, though, Dan, because like it's a limited season. It's not like the full year. It's very like small, and I think it works for what they're trying to create. I think that like if the WNBA went to empty arenas and empty stadiums and no one was watching it, like, yeah, that would matter, and it would suck for fans. Like, I think the reason that the WNBA has been so exciting the last few years is because they have been packing arenas. They've been breaking attendance records in various cities. So I think, having fans at the games does still really matter to the television.
I agree. No, but it doesn't matter to the business. That's all. It doesn't matter all that much to the business.
Well, and when you're talking about trying to get eyeballs at a specific time, like Netflix is trying this right now. Last week, they debuted John Mulaney's new show, Everybody's Live, where they took something that they did for a week and had people tuning in every night for 1 week. Now I believe this is going to be a 12-week run where every Wednesday night they're doing something live. And the way they're producing that show is such honestly, not dissimilar to this, where it's this high wire act of, are they going to mess something up? And watching that live, I find myself, as someone who knows I could watch it the next day or the day after, purposefully tuning in live because I kind of want to see if they can pull it off. And that type of programming is interesting, seeing a late night show that is putting themselves in the position to not just be clips.
I thought something interesting that happened recently because of all the money that Netflix is pouring into live and the danger of live. I saw that Kill Tony is now doing a version of its show for Netflix that begins in April, and that Kill Tony's fans are beside themselves with anger about having to share that with the biggest thing. With that they feel that Kill Tony will end up getting diluted by whatever they believe, I guess, is the corporate interference of Netflix, an interference that they're assuming that I have yet to see play out anywhere with Netflix in terms of content control. I found myself actually confused, even while understanding that when you have your own little thing, that when you have the indie band and then everyone makes the indie band popular, it can be something that first arrivers don't like so much. I found confusing. Do any of you like Kill Tony, watch Kill Tony, or fear that Kill Tony will be diluted by the Netflix experience? Because it's something I'm hearing a lot about, but I'm not a Kill Tony person.
I've seen clips of it. I don't watch episodes, but yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's just audiences want their thing to be theirs.
It's also oversight, right? Like, we all saw what happened when Tony Hinchcliffe got a national microphone and the way that people reacted to that. And I would imagine the people watching Kill Tony who hear those types of jokes all the time know that when it gets to mainstream and when it gets to Netflix, either some of that stuff around the periphery is going to get squashed out in the mainstream, or it's going to kill Tony.
Okay, so that fear...
What are you doing, Dad?
Wasn't it prevalent for Pat McAfee as well? And has it to date not been misguided? That particular fear of, oh, now it's going to become a corporate thing and change, but it hasn't actually changed, right? Like it was
McAfee's tame in comparison to what we're talking about.
Okay, but not tame for Disney.
But he's gotten away with a lot of stuff that normally wouldn't have happened at Disney. And then there were also conversations about Aaron Rodgers and others that changed because he was there. At the very least, it becomes a controversy, even if the end result remains the same way, right?
Okay, but whether there's a controversy or not, has it actually been changed? Do McAfee fans who feared that Disney would ruin their thing that curses and behaves differently and is outside of the mainstream, that fear to date has been misguided, has it not? Like, I understand why it is that people would fear corporate oversight. I don't understand why anyone would fear Netflix's corporate oversight. They have been a leader in terms of allowing comedians to do whatever the hell comedians want to do.
I think that's totally fair. You're right. And in that respect, I don't know that anything will change. I just think that I would imagine most of the people who have that specific niche audience that's watching Kill Tony on a regular basis are probably looking at any sort of corporation, any sort of mainstream anything, and what it's been for the last decade or so would mean that some of those jokes that are made on their show wouldn't get to a national platform. I think we've seen a shift. I think we've seen a shift in what's allowed and what's prevalent in our modern conversation, so maybe they won't have an issue.
I don't know Kill Tony from Adam. I assume it's a very popular person or thing. So if you're Netflix buying that, why would you change what you know to be successful? If I'm Netflix, I'm saying, hey, Kill Tony, not only don't change, turn up the volume.
I don't think they're saying that.
I mean, why wouldn't they? They know what they're buying. Controversy is good for business.
I would be like, let's keep the volume right where you have it. We don't want to change you, but let's not go louder. Let's
I'm just
keep
saying,
it right here.
It's good for business, right?
Attention,
controversy?
Attention at the moment. I don't know that there's anything, including currency, more valuable as a currency made valuable by younger generations that make everything popular, and just something that is valuable from everyone, from Kill Tony to Elon Musk. No matter how much money you have, it appears to me that attention is the currency of the day.
My Zion take, huh? Ahead of its time.
That has aged so well.
I mean,
he's so right.
That was 7 years ago. You guys are like, what are you guys talking about? Any pub is good pub.
Again, not good for Nike.
No, great for Nike. Everybody was talking about Nike. That's all that matters.
Nike. Yeah.
Not good for Nike to.
Oh, Nike, you're right. They've been really hurting.
Not good for Nike to have a shoe be something that could possibly injure the foot of Zion Williamson by not behaving as a competent shoe.
Hey friends, it's Jer Bear here, and I'm here to tell you all about Boost Mobile, which is now a legit nationwide 5G network. So I must take a break from the jokes here for a second and put on my serious voice, because I would never, ever joke about a 5G network that has invested billions building 5G towers across the country. Not even once. Not even if Mr. Boost Mobile himself asked me to. There is nothing funny about it. Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store location to learn more. The Boost Mobile network, together with our roaming partners, covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds, not available in all areas.
All right, I know I got to do this ad read, but hold on. Let me reapply. Did you hear that? Yep, that's my new favorite lip gloss from NYX Cosmetics. Now I'm ready to talk to you. I've been a huge fan of NYX Cosmetics for many years now. In fact, I use their Thick It, Stick It brow gel every single day. So you can imagine my excitement when we recently received a special delivery to the Batard studios from our friends over at NYX Cosmetics. And there it was. When I opened the box, glowing, I heard the angels sing, "Ah." It's their latest lip gloss fat oil lip drip. It's NYX Cosmetics' first lip oil of its kind. This creamy lip oil will have your lips dripping with fat perks. You get all the shine of a lip gloss and none of the stickiness while experiencing 12-hour hydration. I'm usually a matte lip gloss kind of gal. My normal go-to is NYX Cosmetics lip gloss, the Lingerie XXL. But after applying the status update shade, I have found my new go-to lip gloss. Fat Oil Lip Drip has high shine finish with comfortable wear and none of the sticky texture. A lip product that's hydrating, non-sticky, and only $9? Now that's a win. Try Fat Oil Lip Drip from NYX Professional Makeup. Available in 14 universally flattering shades. Find your perfect Fat Oil Lip Drip. Shop now at nyxcosmetics.com or a retailer near you.